This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlayTimeCares.com.
What's up, world? This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlayTimeCares.com. Just finished watching SmackDown. This is the full recap, April 7, 2016. It's coming from where I'm at, Houston, Texas, H-Town. You have Brian Saxton, Mauro Ranallo, and Jared the King Lawler as your commentators. Of course, they're going to start off. This is the first SmackDown after WrestleMania, so they're going to start off with WrestleMania highlights. Then Roman Reigns comes to the ring. Roman Reigns won the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. He comes down the ring, say he's the man, and he was going to beat AJ Styles since he now know that that's the next person that's up for his title. AJ Styles come to the ring and be like, hey, you know I'm going to give you props for your win on WrestleMania, but hey, I'm coming for that title. Roman Reigns says, that's cute, kid. Say, hey, you've beaten some people, but you ain't never beat me, and you never will. Pat him on the shoulder like a little boy. I told him, get up out here with that stuff, little boy. And then, Roman Reigns just kind of walked out the ring. Then they did a Raw recap of Vince McMahon giving Shane McMahon control of Raw for a temporary measure to see how much he would mess Raw up. First match of the night, you have the Lucha Dragons versus NXT stars, the Vault Villains. It was actually an interesting contrast of styles because the Lucha Dragons, nice high flying, perfect for the cruiserweight division, WWE. Get the cruiserweight division going, WWE. You need it. Great, back and forth action between them. The Vault Villains are old school. They dress like old school strongmen and things of that nature. They have a lot of old school hits and, maneuvers. So it was a nice contrast of style. Vault Villains, of course, is their debut on the WWE, so you can't bury them right away. So hey, they end up winning it. The match was a 3 out of 5. It was a decent match. Then of course you had more WrestleMania highlights. This time it was the ladder match recap, and then they showed a Raw recap of Zack Ryder and the Miz incident, which caused the Miz to actually pin a distracted Zack Ryder and win the Intercontinental title one day after Zack Ryder won it. Then they showed more WrestleMania highlights. And then the second match you had was Summer Rae versus Natalia. Of course, Charlotte and Ric Flair are ringside. And then they did a recap of a Raw recap of the Women's Championship getting presented to the women by Lita. And then, of course, Charlotte's saying a whole bunch of stuff that made the Divas leave out the ring, which Natalia said that she need to be humble. And they say, hey, let's have a Flair versus Hart, match. And, Charlotte saying that the Flairs will always be better than the Harts, which made Natalia attack her, and Ric Flair had to save her. So, Summer Rae starts off the match pretty strong, but, Natalia actually fights back and give a lot of eye contact to Natalia ringside, and then puts Summer Rae in the sharpshooter, and that was the end of that match. Match was 2 out of 5. It was an average match. Then they showcased all of the WrestleMania coverage that was shown around the world, just giving you blips of, screen captures of those different websites and news media outlets. Then they did a Raw rebound of Roman Reigns winning the title at WrestleMania. Then on Raw, him putting the title kind of like in the air, putting it open, say, hey, who wants some? Come get some. Same concept. And of course, that led for Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, and The Miz to, no, was it The Miz? Well, whoever. 4 people to come out there. No, Cesaro to come out there. No, it was The Miz. Heck, I don't remember. Just go look at my old thing. They came out and they fought. It was a 4-way. It was a 4-way, fatal 4-way number 1's contender match. Yeah, of course, AJ Styles ended up winning that one. So your third match was going to be Zack Ryder versus The Miz for the Intercontinental title. He evoked his rematch clause, and Maurice, who's The Miz's wife, who caused Zack Ryder to lose by smacking Zack Ryder's dad and causing Zack Ryder to be distracted on Raw, she comes out and she shoots a plug for herself on the microphone. Then she introduced her husband, The Miz, and Zack starts off on fire. He's beating the dog snot out of The Miz early on. Then The Miz turned things around. Then Zack Ryder starts getting back on him. So Maurice decides that she's going to take off the bottom turnbuckle throw it in the ring. Zack Ryder like, what the hell are you doing? The referee grabs it. He's putting it on the bottom turnbuckle. That gives the Miz enough time to recover because he's getting beat up. Jump up and poke Zack Ryder's in the eyes, then put him in a skull crushing finale. Boom. He retains the title. The match was actually about a 3 out of 5. It was a pretty decent match. They showed more WrestleMania highlights after that. Then your fourth match was showed the Social Outcasts doing rock, paper, scissors, shoot to see who was going to get the face NXT star Apollo Crews. And Curtis Axel said that axe beat scissors. You know, he turned his paper into an axe and chopped all of the scissors. And he decided he was going to fight Crews. Crews pretty much dominated that match, and he had plenty of interference from the other 3 members of the Social Outcasts. But Crews was able to, beat up each one of them, and then on the outside make them a non-factor. Then do the spinning power bomb on Curtis Axel. Match was a 3 out of 5. It was a decent match. My concern is they're gonna play Curtis Axel the way that they did Neville, and Curtis Axel gonna keep doing that. I mean, not Curtis Axel. Apollo Crews gonna keep doing that same routine. Look, Apollo, expand that routine, bro. If you're watching this, expand that routine. They did the WrestleMania Battle Royal highlights, of course. Showcasing that Shaq showed up for the Battle Royal, fighting against the Big Show and all that type of stuff. Then they did a Raw recap. Corbin. Baron Corbin won it from NXT. He won it. Then they showed the Raw recap of Baron Corbin saying, look, it's going to be, anybody that's standing in my way going to pretty much get whooped. What he called it, the end of days for anybody that gets in his way. And then they did a WrestleMania recap of the triple threat match for the Women's Championship. And then Becky Lynch was interviewed and says, she's going to be back in a title hunt. She got a nice shine on her eye, saying, hey, she's going to be back in a title run. Emma said, look, I debuted before you in the WWE, and you look at all these shots you got. You need to be in the back of the line where they put me. You need to get to the back of the line. And Becky pretty much said, look, you keep talking noise, I'm gonna give you a black eye like I got. Because, Becky said she still owes Charlotte for that black eye. So, your fifth match was Dean Ambrose versus Tyler Breeze. This match was probably roughly about 2 minutes and 48 seconds. They did a WrestleMania highlights of Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar first, which I'm sure was feud the wrath that Dean Ambrose did to Tyler Breeze. He beat him, like I said, about 2 minutes 48 seconds, something like that. And then oddly enough, it was a quick win for Dean Ambrose. Match a 2 out of 5, just a normal average match. But oddly enough, Chris Jericho music hit before Dean Ambrose even got away from the ringside. And Dean Ambrose walking up the ramp, and Chris Jericho just smiling, walked past him, didn't even acknowledge him. Dean Ambrose looked at him for a long time. So I don't know if that's something that the writers, put in the mix for something later. That'd be cool to see if they develop that. So, your sixth match is actually going to be Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles and Cesaro. But before they got to it, they cut to the back, and Goldust is calling up somebody and say, hey, I have an idea. I want to do Shattered Dreams Production #2, and let's see if we can get that done. Then you see somebody come with a clipboard and say, hey, action. And you see R-Truth for the video camera. He was like, hey, look, man, I need you to be expressive, blah, blah, blah. Goldust was like, look, man, I told you I don't want to be a tag team partner no more. I don't need no partner. I ain't got no partner. He's like, well, Raw is going to come from Los Angeles. And he started naming all of these people that, were related. And he's like, long story short, I can get you audition for your Shattered Dreams Production 2. Goldust was like, you do that for me? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, all right, well, cool. And he's like, hey, but we still not partners. And then they did a Raw recap of Kevin Owens attacking Sami Zayn when Sami Zayn was interviewing and putting him through the power bombing him through a table, which caused Sami Zayn to fall out of that fatal 4-way #1 contender match, which Cesaro replaced him. So, the match finally starts. You got back and forth action, many near falls on each side. Kevin Owens was about to get a victory on AJ Styles. Sami Zayn comes, he rolls out and distracts Owens. AJ Styles go quick scoop slam, 1, 2, 3 victory. AJ Styles and Cesaro have it. What happened to Cesaro and The Miz? Cesaro ran outside the ring and gave The Miz one of those big uppercuts in, not The Miz, not The Miz, Chris Jericho. He gave Chris Jericho one of those big uppercuts and knocked him into the timekeeper area, and he fell in there too. So they was out of it, and that allowed AJ Styles and Kevin Owens to have one-on-one time in the actual match. And Sami Zayn interfered in that, distracted Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens gets pinned 1, 2, 3. Kevin Owens gets upset, and he goes to tag Sami Zayn, and they both keep fighting until they're both separated. That's about a 3 out of 5. Hey, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. Tell your people to subscribe. Tell them to give me thumbs up, thumbs down. I love the comments. Negative, positive, whatever. Do it. Go to PlayTimeCares.com. Sign up so you can get my email alerts when I'm posting all kind of different stuff. I don't just only do wrestling. Let's do this. Playtime out.